Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry. But I guess you know now. Girl in the cut, she choose, say, going up.
Hello ladies, and welcome back to another video. My name is Ivy and this channel is Women's Life with Ivy.
Women may do it for a night, only one night though.
If you have not, please consider subscribing. Girl, it's a whole vibe over here. So look, I want to talk to you about, I know you've seen the title, I want to talk to you about placing unrealistic expectations on people. You know, in this life, some people have the mindset, yeah, we jumping right into it, girl. Some people have the mindset that if I do something for you, you owe me. You owe me a favor. It may not be the same favor, but you owe me a favor. And that's not how it works. Placing unrealistic expectations on people, ma'am, you're gonna have a resentment. You're gonna have a resentment because you're gonna feel like somebody owe you instead of doing it out of the kindness of your heart because it's the right thing to do. You know, it's okay to do something just because it's the right thing to do. Just because I want to help my friend out, or I want to help a stranger, I want to open the door, hold the door open, or what have you. You know, I've taken things to people's cars, you know, well, not really to their car, but it was this older lady in Burlington, and she had just had knee surgery. She had two, but she had just had her second one. And I helped her, you know, carried her bag because you couldn't take the card out. And I carried her bag and I stood there with her while she waited for her ride to pull up to the front. And I just held her bag and started talking to her. That lady didn't owe me anything. But I get the joy out of helping somebody. You know, because when you doing things and you moving in this life, expecting something from somebody, right? And then you get that resentment. Guess who feel that resentment? Yeah, you. You know, it was said a resentment is like peeing on yourself. You're the only one that's going to feel that. I'm not going to feel it. I'm living my life. I'm not thinking none is the wiser. So for me, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I've never, well, I'm not going to say never. Let me not say never. You know, because this is dumb thing we used to say when I was younger. Ain't no robbery and fair exchange. You get what I want, what you want, I get what I want. But I'm not talking about that. And I'm definitely talking about having some growth and maturity and being rooted in the word of God. Because if you're doing something solely to get something back, the only thing you should be doing, now let me say this, okay? The only thing that you're doing that you should expect something is going to your job. Now, when you go to your job, you expect that check. You expect that coin. That's the only thing. But I'm talking about, like, well, let me put it like this, because to be fair, I have some expectations. Like with my husband, it was some things I expected, but he wasn't willing or even able to give me, you know, and I felt that. I gained resentment because, sir, you don't hear me. Why you don't understand what I'm saying? You know, it's not like I'm asking you to do a hard task. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like a small example. But if you look to God for all your wants and all your needs, he said he'll bring you to an expected end, right? Like he has you. He has your back. He know what you're going through. He know what you're struggling with. And he's going to be there. He promised. He promised, I'll never leave you and I'll never forsake you, right? So when I think about expectations, I think about it in the mindset of everyday people in my everyday life, in my everyday walk, of doing something simply out of the kindness of my heart. My mom used to say all the time, if you're going to do it from your heart. Because if you're not doing it from your heart, then why are you doing it? So you could get something back? So you could stack up your favors? You know, because when a person lets you down, you know, how you going to get mad at somebody because you loaned them $100, and when you ask for $100 back when they get their taxes, I know y'all don't watch Judge Mathis, right? So when they get their taxes, you expecting this $100 and they tell you, no, I don't have it. I got to pay bills. They were in a financial bind to come to you in the first place. That's not to say that they can't pay you back. Or let's just say they borrowed $100 and they paid you back. I'm going to give your money back on Friday. Let me say this too. While we right here, while we stopping this train right here, I've never understood the concept of I loan you money, and then when you said that you was gonna pay me back, when that time come, now you got an attitude. You got an attitude with me because I want the money when you said you were gonna give me back my money, when you gave me this whole sad story about why you needed it in the first place. I never understood that. So, and I still don't. I'm 55. I will never understand how people get an attitude and get mad because they owe somebody something. And they want it back. Yeah, I want my stuff back. I get it. I get that life shows up. But to take that approach is not the mature approach to take, right? Look, I don't have it. Some things came up. I know I said I was going to give it back to you at this time. My apologies. Can we work something out? Maybe I can give you half and then give you the other half. But to blatantly just outright have an attitude for no valid reason, I don't get that. I don't get that. So, but yeah, like I'm saying, I'm talking about, when I talk about placing unrealistic expectations on people, I'm talking about doing something from the kindness of your heart. I'm not talking about, and I just gave that example about my husband, but I'm not talking about your husband because I believe, now this is me, I believe in a relationship, you should have some expectations of your husband and your wife. You should. I believe that. I expect you to treat me with respect. I expect for you to talk to me with respect. I expect when you address me, you call me by my name, not a choice word that you think fits the situation, because that's not my name. You know what I'm saying? I expect for you to help me with the bills if you're not paying all the bills. See, I didn't come from where women, well, I mean, it happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but for me in my relationship, I paid half. If not half, I paid some. I have had relationships. Let me say, I've had 2 relationships. One when I was younger where the guy paid all the bills, but we was fighting every time you turned around. So nope, I don't need you to pay all my bills. I need to contribute, to be fully self-supporting in this life, because so many times people think, I was watching this guy and he was talking about this girl wrote this whole Valentine's Day list that she wanted, and whatever she wanted came up to about $1,500 or whatever. They had been dating about 7-8 months, right? So he said, well, we only been dating for a little while and I'm trying to save and buy a house. So she said, well, it's nothing wrong with your condo. Why you just can't live in your condo? There's nothing wrong with that. And so he in turn wrote her a list. And when he wrote her a list, a cut, a bottle wide, some other little, nice things, right? And she was like, what's this? And he said, that's my list. And she said, you gotta be joking. So many times we go in with these unrealistic expectations in relationships instead of meeting people where they are. I'm not of the BBL area or arena in life. That's not my story. I've never had BBL. But to think that because you look a certain way, that you should expect these things, right? This is just in my opinion, and this is just my thought process. If you get something, and I'm not saying gifts, we all deserve gifts. We all deserve to be treated and appreciated as women, right?
You break your own heart expecting people to be like you, to think like you, to feel like you. It took me a long time to realize that what makes sense to me is an irrelevant factor for them. I realized that I expected a me out of them, and the heartbreak after the realization taught me a lesson that I needed to learn. Sometimes we do it to ourselves. We unintentionally put expectations on other people.
So I'm not saying it like that, but what I'm saying is if you get all of this stuff, you're not going to appreciate it. I don't think you would appreciate it because it's just a money grab. It's just what I could get. You know, look at my, Leah, you see all that back there, that wagon I'm dragging? Yeah, I need some diamonds. I need a Birkin. You know what I'm saying? I need you to pay for my veneers. So for me, that's a sad culture that we live in today, where women think that their body is what they bring to the table. You know, this one guy was talking about, well, what do you bring to the table? And the girl said, look at me. This is what I bring to the table. So he said, so in essence, you saying you don't bring anything to the table, you know, and she got mad. You know, I'm just the type of individual, I don't mind helping. If you are my partner, if you are my significant other, I do not mind helping because we are in this together. Sometimes I might have it, sometimes you might have it. And that's what a relationship is built on, in my opinion. You know, I remember my husband was paying all the bills. For whatever we agreed, he paid all the bills, I stay home. That did not work. I'm not going to be a grown woman going to a grown man saying, honey, I need some tampons. Or I need some money to get some tampons. You know what I'm saying? So that just didn't work for me. You know, some women it worked for. But in the end, I was watching this story. I never really watched Love and Hip Hop, I think Miami or whatever. But they was talking about this girl, Nikki Baby. And she was with this guy. And the guy, she had 2 kids by the guy. And when the baby was about 2 months old, he left. You know, my mom and my grandmama used to say, why pay for the cow when you could get the milk for free? Baby, and when they got all the milk that they could stand, when they done with that taste, they're gonna move on. And then you out here and you chasing, expecting somebody else to fund your life. You know, I couldn't imagine just having somebody fund my life. Now, some of you women, or some women you may know, or maybe men may fund your life, but I don't want to place those expectations on anyone. I don't want anyone to have that much power over my life. You know, I know we kind of jumped around with this expectation thing, but baby, I just need to tell you, you know, my videos, I talk about where I am and what's going on in that day, or in the weeks leading up to that video, or what have you. Like, I'm talking to God and I'm like, okay, what we're going to talk about today, you know, because I invite him in. And I just feel like for me, you know, because it's real easy, and I've said it before, it's real easy for me to go back home. I could go back home. If I wanted to go back home, I could go back home and pay 2 bills. Two. But I'm not going to get what I expect. I'm not even going to get half of what I expect. I'm not even going to get, I ain't real good at fractions. You got half, and then you got a third, and then a fourth. Yeah. So I'm not even going to get a fourth of what it is I need. So, you know, that's me placing unrealistic expectations on my husband. So, ladies, hopefully if you're in a situation like that isn't the end all be all, and it's not the true essence of who you are as an individual. There's nothing wrong with getting out and being fully supporting. You know, when you deal with people who they facilitate your life, that means they can cause some shots in your life that may not be beneficial or favorable to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on unrealistic expectation. You know, I wanted to talk about just doing the right thing for the right reason. If we all had an attitude of gratitude and we're all in a state of humility, this world would be so much better. It would. You know, my life is so simple today. It is so simple. You know, I went through the hanging out, the partying, I'm finna go over here and then he finna do X, Y, and Z. He finna pay for X, Y, and Z. I just don't do that anymore. You know, I love where I'm at. I'm talking about the struggle and all. You know, I remember when I first separated from my husband and we got back in the talking stage. And I said, well, we still married. I feel like you should take a bill. You know, I'll pay my own rent, but I feel like you should take a bill. You know, you can't project what it is you feel and you think on another individual. If they're not capable or they're not in that mindset, it behooves you to beat them into submission to thinking the way you think. You know, either you get it on your own or you go without. There's nothing wrong with going without. It builds character. Trust me. It's raining character over here, girl. I'm telling you. So anyway, baby, this is gonna be it. I just wanted to jump on and just kind of kiki with y'all and just to let y'all know my take on placing unrealistic expectations, what God says about expectations. He said to come expecting. So when you coming, you need to go to God if you're expecting him to fulfill what it is you're asking him for. You know, because that man, that woman, don't even get me started on the kids. You know, you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be disappointed. You know, that's not saying that we need to be self-sufficient in this world. That's not what I'm saying. God created us to lean and depend on one another. But just look at your motives before you jump in that lean. That's all I'm saying. So until next time, ladies, I love you all. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you have not, please consider subscribing. Girl, it's free. It's free. And if anybody know about these egg prices, we need something free. So here you go. Make sure you subscribe and I will see you guys in the next video. I love you all. Bye.
Can never be what I am, but as long as he with me, that's what it's gonna be.